Hello, welcome in everyone. This is Weekly Spirit Boost. I'm Tammy Mastroberti, best-selling author of the award-winning book, The Universe is Talking to You, Tap into Signs and Synchronicity to Reveal Magical Moments Every Day. And I'm actually going to be sharing some advice today that I got from my mother after her death. So if you've read my book, The Universe is Talking to You, I talk all about that. And I talk about really how I learned the truth about life after my mother's death and how she was actually the one who taught me a lot of it. Through mediums, through signs, through synchronicities, through all of that. And the thing I want to talk to you about today that I got from her through the medium George Anderson, which was back in the year 2000, is that I think so many of us are always prepared for the worst, or we are always expecting, hi Susan, yes, my husband is doing better, thank you, he is recovering, he's recovering from surgery and doing well. So I think so many of us we're just conditioned to be like, oh no, things are going good, what's around the corner, or oh man, that was amazing, but can I keep this up, is this going to continue? And just not instead of expecting the good to come, we expect the worst. We expect the storm. We expect bad things to happen because we've sort of become conditioned to it, right? We've gone through things, and then as soon as we start feeling good, or as soon as something good happens, we are now waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? And I've seen this in my own life. I've seen this in my business. Hi Michelle, where I'll have an amazing successful launch on something, or a class really resonated with people and everything went so well, and then I'll have that little voice in the back of my head going, but can you keep this up, can you do this again? Actors have this where they have an amazing success in a movie, right, and they make millions of dollars, and now that's like their breakout role, and then they think, oh man, can I continue this, or am I going to crash and burn, right? And I think we all have that to a certain extent. If you're an athlete and you are in an amazing place where you're doing amazing and you're winning your games or your matches or whatever, and then there's that small voice going, something, what if I can't keep this up, or what if something else is going to happen, or I know a lot of people who are just like, everything is going so good, it makes me nervous, right? Like everything is going my way, or everything is, here comes the cat, everything is really good right now. Man, what's coming? And we all do it. We all do it to a certain extent. And it's just because we get so focused on what's going wrong, and it becomes our conditioning. And so it becomes easier for us to accept the bad things because we're like, I knew it was going to happen sooner or later, than it is for us to accept the good that is happening in our life. And we get into this like cycle of it. And it's harder. How many people out there feel that you're resonating? Like that this, on some level, you do this. And you might not even realize you're doing it, or you might just, say it like, oh God, things are going really well, I don't know. You might not even realize you're doing it, but so many of us do. And so back when my mother first passed away in 1999, my sister and I went to the medium who's still out there and practicing and is amazing. His name is George Anderson. And we went to him for an initial reading because she passed from a brain aneurysm, and there was no goodbye, there was no closure. And so we really went because of that. And again, this was before mediums were on TV and there was more normalcy to it and people talked about it openly. This was over 20 years ago. And She said so much in that 1 hour session that I luckily have a tape of. And so I transcribed that whole tape, and I pulled chunks of it for the book, for The Universe is Talking to You. But I want to read to you the small paragraph that is her advice on this, because I still think of it now. Over 20 years later, this advice still resonates with me. I still remember that she said it. I put it in the book because it's that important for people to remember, and for people, I feel, because all of us do this, right? And we're trying to manifest and we're trying to create, but there's that little voice in the back of our head that's like, but what's coming? But, oh, look, oh, see, something happened. I knew it. I was waiting for it because this is my life, right? Things always go wrong. Something always blows up. And it's easier for us to accept that, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be easier for us to accept the good and then expect more of that good. And so I want to just read to you this small little section of advice from my mother, Marianne, through George Anderson, that she gave to me from the other side about accepting joy. Because on the other side, they have a very different perspective of life than they did when they were in this human body. And so I thought, I've been dealing with this. I know there's other people out there who are probably also who go through this, and who feel that it's easier to accept the crap of life than it is to accept the good things that are happening, and not ruin those good things that are happening with that thought of, oh man, things are going too good, like what's coming, right? We don't want to do that. And so many of us do it, and I know that I'm guilty of it too, and I catch myself all the time going, nope, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go there. I want to just enjoy the good things that are happening to me. So I'm going to just read you this. This is the advice from my mother through a medium about accepting joy in your life. This is so important. So that's why I'm literally going to read word for word, because it's not even my words. It's literally came through this medium from my mother. So this is what she said. Or this is what he says, she says. Your mother says, you are always ready to prepare for the bad things that come in life. Why not start to absorb some of the joys that come in life? It's funny how even in her life review in the hereafter, and I'm just going to say, if you know George Anderson's work or any other mediums, they talk about how after we pass, the soul goes through this life review where you can see all the good you did, all the bad, all how you made people feel, all of this stuff. So she's talking about this. The higher souls asked her, did you partake of the joys that came to you in life as well as the hardships? Frankly, she said, you have no answer for that, because we are so conditioned to put up with X and life stinks. She says they asked her, why didn't you partake of these joys? Why didn't you allow yourself this joyful happiness? Why were you so quick to put up with and accept the hardships and the unhappiness and overlook the joys? A lot of people on earth have more difficulty accepting joy as opposed to difficulties. They can actually accept adversity easier than they can accept the joy. People will turn joy away, thinking it isn't the right thing to do, or they are not entitled to it. And she says this is incorrect. Always remember, when joy comes into your life, you are supposed to accept it. Remember to willingly and joyfully take the joys that come to you, because if they come to you, you are entitled to them. She told me this through this medium in October of 2000. We are now in, what are we in? August of 2021. And it still applies today. And at the time, I had no idea in a million trillion years that I would be doing the work I'm doing, that I would be sharing this advice in a book. But she knew, right? Because they know, they can see the whole long term. They can see there's no time and space on the other side. So they see it all. She knew. And she made sure to share this in that reading, because she knew eventually my daughter's going to share this with other people. And so I put it in the book because it's that important. And I'm sharing it here because it's come up for me recently, where I hear people around me saying, you know, things are going well. It's kind of freaking me out. Or I see myself remembering, like, or something good will happen, like I said, with business or something, and I'll think, man, is this going to keep going? Or am I going to keep, doing this? Or, God, am I going to be able to keep this up, or whatever that might be? And so that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today, because I try to share what is coming up for me in my world on these weekly spirit boosts. A little bit different than the weekly videos that I share. I recently on my YouTube put out like a full moon ritual video where it's really more teaching and steps and things like that. But here I'm still teaching. I like to come on and share things that are going on with me, or that are coming up for me, that I feel in my heart is something I should put out there, that I think will help people and will resonate with people as well. And in a time of, pandemic, post-pandemic, I don't even know where we are in this pandemic, and all of the things that are going on, like, so many of us are just conditioned to deal with the crap. And we are just sort of, it's uncomfortable for us sometimes to take in and accept some of the good that is coming. And so I had to share the advice from Mama Marianne. And I just have to tell you that if something good comes into your life, remind yourself, number one, to accept it, to enjoy it, to celebrate it. Because if it has come into your life, it's come into your life for a reason, and there is good. And remind yourself when you hear that little voice saying, oh no, am I going to be able to continue this? Or, oh no, I'm feeling good, what's coming? Or, oh no, things have been running too smoothly with this, something's going to, something's dropping out of somewhere, that other shoe is going to drop. To stop yourself and say, no, I am going to really embrace the good that's happening to me right now. And I am going to choose to expect more of it. I am going to choose to expect that this is going to continue. And even if something does happen, it's all good. And I'm going to choose to continue to focus on the good that is around me. And I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to expect it, and I'm going to celebrate it. And that's what I wanted to share this week, because it's so common. I think so many of us do it, and that's why I said I still find myself doing it. I still catch myself going, no, Tammy, celebrate this, feel good about this, and keep moving. Don't think, oh no, something is coming, or oh no, whatever, because then we're just creating more of the stuff to say oh no about, right? And we don't want that. Susan is saying, oh gosh, I can hardly wait for a rainbow of my entire life, or a rundown of my entire life, as if I don't dwell enough on my mistakes. That's the life review you're talking about. Yeah, George Anderson talks a lot about that. But it's very non-judgmental, by the way, from what I understand. There is no judgment on the other side. It's literally just, and she just wanted to pass that on. I was 22 at the time that she passed. So I guess at the time she was giving me the advice, I was 23. My sister was 30, because we were in the reading together. And she was just like, man, let me pass this on to you. Like, don't do this to yourself, right? Don't do this to yourself. We're supposed to be enjoying things. We're supposed to be creating, a life that we love. And we have all these tools available to us. and which is what I try and teach, right? I try to teach people how we can utilize these tools to really harness the energy that's around us, that's available to us, the energy that is in the universe that we can utilize to create an amazing life. And unfortunately, there's so much conditioning, but that's what these tools are for. These tools are for to break through some of that conditioning so that we can start changing our path and creating an amazing life, because we're here to do that, and we forget it because we get so bogged down and we get so caught up in all the crap. So oh, you're welcome, Deborah. Thank you, Alice. My husband is doing better. Thank you, everybody. He really is. He's doing well. He's follows up with the doctor soon. And fingers crossed the recovery continues and he stays on his healing path. I'm sure he will, because we are on it. We are doing the energy work, and all of that. So thank you for asking. But anyway, again, not getting caught up in the crap of life, but really just knowing that everything's going to be good, that I can look for the good, that I can focus on the good, so I'm creating more, and just accepting, like, wow, these amazing things. Like, even my husband, man, he's doing amazing considering everything that happened, right? And that's a huge blessing, and that's something that we embrace and accept and are happy about, right? And so instead of dwelling on, like, well, what about this piece of his brokenness, or what about whatever, it's like, man, he's doing so much better than you would have expected. And so that is, do I still get messages from my mother? Oh yes, Susan. I first of all, I still, I'll still go to mediums, from time to time, and I get messages from her that way. But I also have dreams of her that I get messages in. She's always sending me different signs, that I know are her, letting me know she's around. So yes, I still get messages from her, and she's still teaching me, like, especially when I go through go to different mediums, she's literally giving me business advice. Like, and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, here's what I see, here's what you should be doing, and here's what blah, 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 blah. Like, one time she literally came through and told me to buy a new computer. She's like, you need to buy a new, like, your computer is old, and, you're trying to do, this was like, gosh, when did I buy a new computer? Like 4 years ago. And I was doing more lives at the time. I had started my membership community, and I go live with them every once a month to do like a group oracle card reading, and to do mini readings for them, answer questions. And she was like, in order to grow, you have to get a new computer. And I'm like, this is what you're telling me, like, through a medium? Like, okay, Mom, I'll get a new computer. It's just funny. It's so funny how she is still a mom, and she still comes through with advice and like a business consultant. She cracks me up. But yes, so I still get signs and messages from her all of the time, and it's awesome. But that first session, like I said, when you came, when she came through with some of this stuff, I still go back to it, and that is a huge one, that accepting the joy piece. Yes, Jude, signs from our loved ones can add so much joy to our life. 100%. Yes. Oh, my mother is very, and it's funny because every time I do have a reading with her, people will say, the mediums will say to me, man, your mother's been gone 20 years. She's so strong. Her energy is so strong. So that's another thing too, is don't think that because your loved one is passed on for a while that they're not around. No, that's not the case at all. Hi, Mary Lou. Susan, how do you find a reliable medium who isn't smoke and mirrors? I've been very lucky in the work that I do to come across some amazing mediums that I highly recommend to people. There's 3 that I actually recommend that I know are amazing. So if you are interested in that, you can shoot an email, and I can send you the links. Again, there's 3 different ones that are awesome. So I would say go through recommendations would be the best way to find a medium that is reliable. George Anderson is awesome as well. I know he's very expensive, but he's very, he's amazing. But I do recommend probably three different mediums. Some of them have longer waiting lists than others, so it depends on how quickly you want to get in. But I would say go off of recommendations from other people. That's really the best way to do it, so that way somebody else had a good experience with them, and then you can move forward from there. But anyway, so my mother is still very strong and very active and amazing, and surprises me all of the time with the things that she comes out with. It's just cool. But I had to come on here and share that with you because, again, it has been coming up for me, and so I thought, this isn't even advice from me, right? This is advice from her, from the other side, saying like, hey, stop doing this. Stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stop expecting the bad. Why are we so conditioned to do that? Change yourself, and not only accept the good, but expect it. And when it comes, celebrate it. Don't say, oh, this is awesome, but what's coming next? No. That's not accepting the joy, right? We need to accept the joy. We need to expect the joy. And that's, her words are better than I could have ever put it, which is why, thank God, I transcribed it and put it in the book for you. And I talk about other things that, in the book that she has shared with me. And obviously the book really is all about you guys learning to open up to these signs and these communications yourselves as well. But I just like to share some of the things within that realm that I have gotten through her that I think are just awesome advice for anybody to take. So thank you, Mama Marianne. And thank you all of you guys for being here with me today. Could you please share the names of the mediums you use? I'll just share them here so you guys can look them up. One of them his name is Anthony Marocca, Marocka. I know he has about a 6-month waiting list, but he does it phone or Zoom. Amazing. I've had many readings. I've had him to the house to do group readings. And he is in the New Jersey area, but again, he does it Skype or, not Skype, dear Lord, Zoom or phone readings as well. Was like a month out, but I'm not 100% sure. So you can look her up as well. And a third one who is an animal communicator, psychic medium, intuitive coach. Her name is Jerry Karabin. I always say her name wrong. Karabin. And I think you can probably get into her sooner than others. So those are three just off the top of my head. That I recommend people to, that I know are open for readings right now, and are taking people. Another one, I don't know if I'm assuming she's still doing readings, but she's excellent, is Lisa Kay, last name Kay. So that would be a fourth one. So you can look up all of those, and see, what resonates. But I definitely recommend those, having personal experience with them, having sent people to them who had amazing results. So those are some that you can look into. But it's extremely healing if you've never had a mediumship reading. Extremely healing, extremely life-changing. It's literally what got me, the reading with George Anderson, the medium, literally got me on the path that I'm on right now. I would not be here had that not really cracked me open and sent me on this path of discovery and searching and understanding. And so I highly always recommend. Oh, Jude, thank you for sharing that also. Jude just shared another, Erin Chandler, who works well with mothers whose children have passed. I'm not familiar with her, but thank you for sharing that. I know Jude. She's one of my members in my membership community, so I would trust her recommendations as well. All right, so thank you guys for being here with me today. I hope that advice resonates with you. Take it with you. Remember the next time something good happens to accept it, and remember to just talk to that little voice in the back of your head that's always like, oh man, things are going good, like, is this going to continue, or what's coming next? Like, just put a stop sign up for that and be like, nope, I'm not listening to you today. I'm just going to immerse myself in the joy and stay there and stay in that vibration. So I'm wishing you all a beautiful and amazing rest of your week and weekend, because these are always on a Thursday. And I thank you for being here with me, and I will see you back here next Thursday for another weekly spirit boost. Bye, everyone.